So you can do magic, you can have anything you desire. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Would you say this if you were somewhere else?
Yeah.
Good. Just checking. Just checking. You can do magic, Kyle. Always. Wow. So today's message is the mystery, the miracle, the magic. 3 M's. Wow. So last week we discovered a little bit about, it was all about belief, really, that magic happens if you believe it. But there's even more to it, because a lot of people in this world right now don't feel very magical. I've met a few of them, and this is not our job or our mission to do anything but to stand as a lighthouse for those who are not experiencing the magic. One thing that Rita and I do talk about a lot is this idea that if your lives are not producing this magical thing, and we're saying you can do anything and it doesn't happen, then there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's always a mystery. Something is happening in the mystery, and I got into that whole idea. I was raised through Catholicism, and I was raised in a Catholic school, and there was a lot of mysteries going on there. And a lot of mysteries going on at St. David's. And the nuns, that's when we had nuns, you know, the ones with that you could weight lift with the rosaries, because they had a lot going on there. But I used to get in trouble a lot. I don't know where this stuff comes from, you know. Download. So here's the thing. I was not always the best student from the nun's perspective, because I was constantly questioning. There are three persons in one God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. How is that? How does that work? How can there be 3 people? That was Sister Mary, Jeanette back there. I recreated her for you. So the thing of it is I was always asking, and the one that really drove them crazy was this one. Okay, I didn't talk like that when I was 7, but if I did, I'd be, okay, so there's no beginning and there's no end. My little head could wrap around the no end part. I would say, I just don't understand the no beginning. How can something never begin if it's the beginning? Oh, the faces on those beautiful. They were like, and all the kids are like, because I'd be the only one who would ask. And they would say, and she would say, it's faith. And I would think, she could do better than that, because the faith part I hear about all the time. So what it was is, I don't think she knew. She couldn't answer a question. I don't think she knew. I think what she knew is that she had faith that she didn't know. And that she would turn it over to God or something outside to figure that out, and they'd let us know later. And I'm telling you, I don't think I was hated there, but I was, religion was a sore spot from 8 to 9 in the morning with these beautiful, beautiful nuns. But what I got out of it was, the mystery is the fun part. We're always saying we want to solve the mystery, right? But do we? For me, sometimes I'm thinking, what happens when we live in the mystery? And I got a couple of what ifs. I love what ifs if they're in my favor. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens, right? So here's another one. So, what if the mystery wasn't a puzzle to solve, but an invitation to trust? You're still copping out. We want to know what it means. We want to know the mystery. What if miracles don't happen to us, but through us, when we stop trying to control the outcome? Oh my God. Have you ever tried to control the outcome? Exhausting. It is exhausting. Do I hear an amen? I mean, I mean, we get exhausted because we say we want freedom of choice and let the best in it supporting me, except you change just a little bit over there and do that and do that. And what if magic is simply the natural expression, I love this, of an open heart meeting the unknown? The unknown is where everything's happening. We know what's happening here. How's that working? Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. And I just love this thing too that I heard this morning. It is, everyone's going, I'm looking for a miracle, I'm looking for a miracle, I'm looking for a miracle, I'm looking for a miracle. We are the miracle. Can you imagine? I don't want to transcend from this space and go, I'm looking for a miracle, I'm looking for, and then all of a sudden I transcend and leave this incredible costume. And I leave, and then all the voices of time and space are ringing out, welcome home, miracle. I was a miracle? I was a miracle? It reminds me of Dorothy. Dorothy, she goes to that lovely little fairy. What is she called? What's the one that's all in the bubble? Glenda, thank you. It wasn't a part of this, that's why it came up. But Glenda comes up and she says, oh my dear, you had the power all along. You're freaking kidding me, right? I love Saturday Night Live. They do a whole thing on it. I've been traveling with the Three Stooges now for the longest time, and I had the power. I had the power to leave here. I could have clicked. I didn't even need to click. I could have just said, take me home. And then if they had done that, then, well, it would have been a very short movie. But I really get it. I don't want to be told, do you? We're told all the time, we have the power, we have the power, we have the power. Now, I wanted to share something too with you. Do you know who Kaua'i Reeves is? Yes? From The Matrix and many other things. I heard a 30-minute thing that he did. He must be going through that. His life is looking different to him now. But he wanted to explain something, and I'm going to share this last part with Kaua'i Reeves. I went and I transcribed it, but I think there's some nuggets to get from here, and there's some unpacking to do. So I'll read his words, and then I'll unpack it as we go. Now, this is him. He went through kind of a dark night of the soul. Now, this is the funny part about it. He's talking about being on the set and I hope they don't find out I'm not a really good actor and all of the insecurities he's going through. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? We had no idea that Kaua'i Reeves was sitting over there going, I hope they don't find out that I'm really not everything that I am put out to be. Have you ever felt that? It's called the imposter syndrome. It's when you feel you're out there and someone says, I love what you're doing. And you think, oh, I hope they don't find out who I am. You know, that's that insecure sometimes part of it, sometimes. He says, now I can be present, now that he's out of the dark night, now I can be present with people in a way I never could before. Here we go, first nugget. Because I'm here with them instead of being lost in my head about them. Yep, take the nugget. You're going to all get one. I'm still human, you know, but I'm no longer a prisoner of being human. And I really hit that because I've been really talking lately about the five senses, being addicted to the five senses that we have. And they're beautiful, right? Oh, 10 senses of taste and smell and hear and touch. And oh my God, it's incredible, our five senses. But could it be that perhaps sometimes it limits me because I forget about my other senses? And I'm trying to solve whatever it is in my life, sadness, prosperity, whatever it is, diagnosis, whatever it is, but I'm only stuck here. So now I understand why we don't manifest immediately. Because if you're stuck only in what I can see, then we are can be limited. Because then we're not open to the sixth sense and the intuitive sense. And if you think those are the only two, I think we're wrong. I think there is so much going on with our incredible bodies and minds and spirits. So then he goes on to say, and here we are, here's another nugget, catch it whoever needs it. Like I can feel anxiety without becoming anxiety. Does that make sense? You guys look at me like, Kiona, no wonder he thought he was an imposter. No, I can feel sadness without drowning in it. I can think about problems without being consumed by them. And this is why I loved it so much. This is not about, you don't have any problems, just be happy, just get rid of it, go. No. But when we have something going on in our lives, we have tools that we can own them. There's nothing wrong with, you are not the identity of sadness. I'm feeling really overwhelmed and sad. I'm feeling that. Not, I am sad. I am anxiety. Whatever you put behind what I am. He goes on to say, but I want to be honest. This isn't a perfect system. I disagree with him here. It's a perfect system that we're talking about here. We just perhaps are not using it in its totality. Sometimes practices fail. Here it is. Here comes another one. Sometimes I get completely overwhelmed and forget everything I've learned. Anybody ever feel that? Sometimes I wake up and my mind is already racing. Anybody deal with that? And I can't find the observer seat. That's the one that can observe everything happening but not get caught up in it. I can't find the present moment portal. I'm just lost in a mental matrix again. Now, he's getting out of it. Here we go. The difference is now I know there's a way out. That's where we're coming in that you can take home today. I know there's a way out. Now, I know that when I'm lost, it's temporary. I have tools. I have a path back to freedom. Bad mental days still happen to me. But now they're just like weather, you know? They're just storms that are passing through. They're not there. They're not there, and they are not who I am. And I put in their identity. Sometimes we claim these things as our identity instead of what we're actually going through. Especially if you're going through any kind of diagnosis, any kind of mental anguish, anything that's going on, you're not alone, ever. It may feel that way. It definitely may feel that way. Mental freedom isn't perfection. That's something to always remember, especially in this teaching. Mental perfection doesn't mean, I got it, it's down. Yep, one power. Mental freedom is having a way home. Knowing that no matter how lost you get in your mind, there is always a path back to stillness, back to presence, and back to yourself. The reason I brought Kiana here today is because sometimes we think that those people out there got it down. And I'm not talking just celebrities. Oh, they got it down. They're not worried. They're retired. They're living the high life. Oh, yeah, they got this, they got that. But we never know, and we can't step back far enough to know what someone else is going through. And we have this teaching and this power, the one power that can be those beacons of light for someone else when they need it. Does that make sense? Because I'm running across a lot of times, my friends, that people are going through really a lot, and they feel like they'll hold out, they'll isolate until it's over, and then they'll come out and play. And my invitation is, feel every single feeling that you have. But don't forget to play. And don't forget to love yourself. Loving yourself will get you through it. So I will end with this wonderful little quote. What if the mystery of life isn't asking to be solved, but to be savored? I love the word savored, by the way. It just tastes so good. What if the unknown is not our enemy, but our portal to miracle and magic. And from my inner child self-love quest of my life, I'm like Don Quixote with those two things. Just remember something. When the battle ends is when the magic begins. When the battle ends, that battle ends, magic begins. Here's knowing magic, here's knowing every miracle, and here's knowing that every mystery is serving each and every one of us. And so it is. Namaste.